She laughed when I gave her a 7-day notice after she spent our rent money on a friend's trip, said I'd never actually kick her out. So I packed every box, changed the locks, and watched her run out of options, 1 by 1 inch. I'm 34, and I really thought moving in with my girlfriend, Qley, 29, was going to be the next big step in our relationship. We'd been together for 2 years, spent most weekends at each other's places, and I figured sharing an apartment would save us money and bring us closer. Qley had recently left what she called a soul-sucking job and said she wanted to focus on her art for a while. I told her that was fine. I could cover most of the bills until she got back on her feet. Honestly, I believed she was worth the investment. The first month was nice. She'd cook now and then, rearranged the living room to make it feel more us, and she even bought a few plants for the windowsill. She seemed grateful, and I was happy to help. But little cracks started to show. She'd borrow my debit card to get groceries and come home with expensive boutique shopping bags instead. The utility bills suddenly doubled because she liked running the heat with the windows wide open for fresh air. When I brought it up, she brushed it off like I was being controlling. Then came the moment that flipped everything. 2 weeks ago, rent was due. Qley's share was $900, and she told me her bank card was acting up, so she'd need the cash to drop off at the landlord's office herself. No problem, I thought. I handed her the money and didn't think twice about it. A few days later, I got a notice from the landlord that the rent was short. I asked Qley about it, thinking maybe there was some kind of mix-up. She didn't look guilty or apologetic, just shrugged like it was no big deal. Relax, she said. I'll pay it next week. I used the money for a quick trip to Miami with my friends. It was a mental health thing. I just stared at her. You took our rent money to go on vacation? She rolled her eyes. You act like you don't make enough to cover it yourself. You should be grateful you have me. Most guys would kill to date me. That one sentence hit me harder than anything else she'd done. She wasn't sorry. She wasn't embarrassed. She was convinced she was doing me a favor just by being there. Right then, I decided I was done. It wasn't about the $900. It was about the fact that she saw me as a safety net, not a partner. I'd been paying most of the bills, picking up the slack, and giving her the space she said she needed, and she repaid that by treating my trust like a piggy bank she could crack open whenever she felt like it. She must have noticed my silence because she asked, "What? You're not actually mad, are you?" I didn't answer. I just nodded slowly and walked away, already thinking about my next move. I didn't want to fight, and I didn't want a long, drawn-out breakup full of empty promises. I wanted her out, calmly, cleanly, and without any chance for her to spin it into me being the bad guy. If she thought I was lucky to have her, she was about to find out how wrong she was. The next morning, I pulled out my lease and read it carefully. I already knew she wasn't on it. She'd never been added as a tenant. No rent receipts with her name, no official paperwork, nothing. Legally, she was just a guest I'd been supporting. That realization made things very simple. I printed out a written notice giving her 7 days to vacate and taped it to the fridge, right between a magnet shaped like a flamingo and a takeout menu she liked. I didn't say anything when I heard her in the kitchen later. She came into the living room holding the paper, laughing like it was a joke. "You're not actually kicking me out," she said. "Where would I even go?" I didn't look up from my phone. Maybe back to Miami. I hear it's warm this time of year. Her face dropped for a second, but she quickly put on that familiar tone, half annoyed, half amused, like I was being dramatic. "You're serious?" "Completely," I said. The rest of the day, she walked around like nothing had happened, scrolling through Instagram while working on her art. I didn't argue, didn't nag. I just started ordering boxes and packing tape from Amazon. By Friday, I had a plan. She was going out that night with friends and wouldn't be back until late. As soon as the door shut behind her, I got to work. I took every piece of her clothing, her makeup, the random decor she'd bought, and packed it into boxes. I labeled them so she couldn't claim I lost anything. Even her half-empty bottles of shampoo went in a bag. I stacked everything neatly by the front door, not dumped in a heap, not thrown in garbage bags, but packed with the same care you'd give a moving day for someone you still respected. Because the point wasn't to humiliate her, it was to make it clear this was final. When I was done, I sat on the couch and looked around the apartment. It was quieter, cleaner. It already felt more like home again. I didn't know exactly how she'd react, but I did know one thing. She was about to see that the guy who was lucky to have her could do just fine without her. It was just past 2:30 in the morning when I heard her at the door. I'd been awake, not out of anxiety, more because I wanted to be alert when she came back. The lock clicked, and she stepped inside, the faint scent of alcohol and expensive perfume drifting in with her. She shut the door, turned toward the living room, and stopped cold. Her things were stacked neatly by the entrance, boxes labeled clothes, bathroom, miscellaneous. Her favorite framed print leaned against the wall. "What is this?" she asked, looking from the boxes to me. Helping you get a head start on finding somewhere else to charm, I said evenly. You can't just, she began. Legally, I can, I interrupted. The notice is still on the fridge. You've got 6 more days, but if you find somewhere sooner, that works for both of us. She stared at me for a long moment, then switched into the tone I'd heard before, part hurt, part disbelief. I can't believe you're doing this. You're throwing away everything we've built over a stupid misunderstanding. This isn't a misunderstanding, I said. She tried another angle. I'll just stay in the second bedroom until you cool off. We don't have to do this. I shook my head. The locks will be changed next week. The only reason they aren't already is because I'm following the law to the letter. Her voice rose a little. So that's it. You're just done. Yeah, I said quietly. I'm done. For a few seconds, the only sound was her keys clinking against the table as she set them down. She didn't unpack anything, didn't throw a fit, just went into the bedroom without another word. The silence that followed wasn't tense. It was the kind of silence you get when a decision is made and there's nothing left to argue about. Over the next few days, Qley tried to prove she didn't need me. First, she stayed with a guy named Trevor, someone she'd known for years. That lasted about 3 nights before, according to mutual friends, Trevor's girlfriend came home unexpectedly and told her to leave. Next, she tried crashing at her cousin's place. That ended after one night when they fought about her borrowing clothes without asking. Her last attempt was an old co-worker, but that blew up after Qley accidentally ordered drinks to their DoorDash account while they were at work. She was blocked before she even had time to explain. Each time she ran out of options, she'd come back to my building and try to get buzzed in. The first time, I let her in so we could talk. It went nowhere. After that, I told the front desk she wasn't allowed up without my permission. By the last day of her notice, she showed up with her mom and 2 men I'd never seen before. They didn't look like movers. They looked like they were there to make a point. Unfortunately for them, the security cameras caught one of the guys trying to pry open my door with a screwdriver before they even knocked. I called the police. Turns out he had a prior burglary charge, and they took him away in handcuffs. Qley's mom stayed behind, shaking her head and asking me to just give her another chance. She told me I should be lucky to have her. I said, now she can let someone else feel lucky and pay for it. They left with the rest of her boxes. Qley didn't say a word, but the look she gave me on the way out wasn't anger. It was something closer to realization. I haven't heard from her since, except for a vague Instagram story about fake people and choosing happiness. Mutual friends say she's been bouncing from couch to couch, wearing out her welcome within days. The apartment feels lighter now. My bills are back to normal. My fridge actually has food in it, and I don't have to second guess where my money's going. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. When someone tells you they're a prize, believe them. But also remember, sometimes the prize isn't worth winning. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.